and welcome to the 5th Annual Leukemia Research Foundation of Delaware's Black Tie Gala. Thank you. Thank you to you guys for being here. For those of you whom I've not had the pleasure of meeting yet, my name is Denni Ferrara, and I am the president and founder of the Leukemia Research Foundation of Delaware. I also have the pleasure and the honor as serving as this evening's chairperson, along with I can honestly say, a handful of people. We are really small, and I know that some of you know this whole story about us, but I have to say it again. There's just a handful of volunteers, but there's a whole community of you out here that help us to do what we do. So for each and every one of you, I can't thank you enough. So here we are, our 5th anniversary, 5 formal black tie events, and look around. Once again, we have filled this beautiful ballroom. And once again, I stand before you humbled by the generosity all of you continue to demonstrate to our foundation. Before I go any further, please allow me to take this opportunity to introduce to you our small but very passionate board. My dear friend Christine Battaglia-Meyer, Vice President and mother of cancer survivor Bradley Meyer. Dynamic treasure and 11-year cancer survivor himself. Don is one of the longest living survivors of multiple myeloma here in Delaware. And if you get an opportunity to chat with Don, don't stand still too long, but I can almost guarantee that he will tell proudly that if it wasn't for cancer research, he would not be here to honor us with his presence this evening. And last but not least, Nick Ferreira III. Nick is the father of a cancer survivor, Natalia. He's my husband, and he serves as the board secretary. However, he's the only secretary I know that has an assistant. Jen, thanks for helping Nick out. As many of you know, most foundations are built with rocks, steel, and concrete, but not this foundation. The structural strength of our foundation is not built with such conventional materials. Our foundation is built with dollars and with a lot of heart. Dollars provided to hardworking, tireless doctors and researchers such as Dr. Kolb, who you met this evening. He amazes me, along with the other doctors at AI. You know, they're in the lab, they're at the bedside, they're in the meetings, they go to the conferences, comes out and does the mud run, attends the Black Tie Gala while his wife is at his daughter's recital. There's Dr. Meek. There's so many doctors and nurses there that are so dedicated, not only to their jobs, but they've made it their lives. So that's why we're here, because we need to help fund them so that they can continue to live their lives. However, being as smart and endearing as they are, we need to keep them in the lab to continue to create these medicines that we need for children and as well for adults. So, because my husband and I, and Chris and Jim and Don and Karen and many others here tonight share that same dream of finding a cure, I founded back in 2007 the Leukemia Research Foundation of Delaware. Many of you here tonight know my story, already aware of why we do this, but I have to apologize and maybe just tell you one more time, because there are a few people here tonight that may not know our story and may not be able to really appreciate what goes on behind the scenes and what's led us to this journey here. My first introduction to cancer came when my friend Chris Meyer's son Bradley became very ill at the age of 6 months. We would be at the beach. We'd be, I don't know, going out for ice cream, and poor Bradley just wasn't feeling well at all. Neuroblastoma, that's what they told him. I remember the hours spent comforting our friends as their infant child was laying in a hospital crib that, in fact, more closely resembled a stainless steel cage. I remember the smell of 3C North, the oncology floor. And I remember the helplessness and the expression on their grandparents' face, who not only had to witness the struggle of a grandchild fighting cancer, but also the horror of watching their own child consumed with the fear of what if. Fortunately, Bradley Baird proved himself to be a strong little guy. Bradley was under the care of a wonderful team of physicians and nurses led by Dr. Rita Meek, who's also here with us this evening. Dr. Meek, can you just stand up and say hi? There she is. Dr. Meek, amazing. So fortunately, Bradley has triumphed and beat the odds, all because of dollars spent on research, long before we came into the picture. Throughout Bradley's recovery, Nikki and I always felt compelled to do more. We participated in charitable events, including Relay for Life and Light the Night. Nick and a couple friends along the way opened a small haunted house down in Middletown to help raise money for cancer research. I think that first year they gave the American Cancer Society close to $20,000. Flash forward 1 year, not even a year. Flash forward a few months after that first opening of Frightland. Bradley is recovering well from his treatments, however, never easily. His surgeries, and the next thing we know, oncology doctors at AI DuPont Hospital were telling us on that same floor that we had visited Bradley that our 3-year-old daughter, Natalia, had leukemia. So how could this be? We're giving back, we're trying to help our friends, we're trying to make a difference in the community. Two families so close, both from very fortunate backgrounds. However, that doesn't mean anything. Cancer has no discretion. Natalia was administered some doses of chemotherapy, some pretty high doses back then. They didn't give them, as you read on the medicine bottle, if somebody weighs under this much, you only give them a little bit. She was still administered adult doses of chemotherapy in hopes of cleaning out her system. So this was the chemo and the radiation was thought to destroy any cancer cells that may be hiding in her spinal fluid. She received routine spinal taps that would remove the spinal fluid, replace it with chemotherapy medicines. During many of these procedures, Nick and I had to physically hold Natalia down and restrain her while her oncologist would insert a syringe into her spinal column. You see, Natalia had difficulty with anesthesia, so her doctors decided it would just be better to let her bite on a towel, bite on a pillow, and suck it up and go through it without being sedated. So although it was many years ago, I'm still haunted by those thoughts. And Natalia said, "Mommy, I don't want to take that medicine. It's not my favorite kind, or it's not my favorite color." She would have said anything for us not to give it to her. But I know now in her heart that she knows we did the right thing. The doctors and nurses all did the right thing for the right reasons. So now, because of research dollars, nearly 95% of children diagnosed with leukemia are surviving. That's incredible when considering in the 1960s, only 4% of children with leukemia survived. And I'm sad to say we have friends here tonight who we just learned she was 9 and her little brother was 4 when she lost him to leukemia many, many years ago. And again, because back then there was no dollars for research, there was no research. And she lost her little brother, and her family was strong enough to donate his body to research to help make a difference. So we honor you guys for being here with us tonight. So, because Nick and I are so fortunate, because Chris and Jim Meyer are fortunate, because of fortunate people like Don Yannick, Mike Malchione, who's here tonight, and also a cancer survivor. But because of brave friends who have fought so hard and lost their battle, wonderful people like Mike Seferati, Mrs. Lisa Qualls, Nick Calalori, whose family is here with us tonight, and we're so proud to have you guys here. Nick Calalori's brothers and parents are here. They run the Headstrong Lacrosse Foundation, and they've honored us by being here with us tonight. We support them, and they support us as well. So thank you guys for being here. So, because of all these brave people, I personally won't stop. Someone said to me a couple weeks ago, Denni, maybe you should take a year off, or do you really, have to do one every year, or do you need to do the mud run? Yeah, my heart tells me that I need to do it, so here we are. So I gave you this background clearly so you can understand that with the support that you provide, this foundation is so very important to research. We believe that it is good doctors and researchers are provided with the dollars they need, then they will eventually find a cure. Money cannot fix everything, but eventually we hope that it will fix cancer and the side effects that it brings. This foundation, as I told you before, is run by volunteers, good people who give selflessly of their time, but this foundation has no paid employees. I don't receive a salary. Chris doesn't receive a salary, at least not from me. I think her dad might help her out. But our reward is coming simply from watching my daughter Natalia turn into a young woman. I know some of you have seen her tonight, but I need to ask her to stand up. Natalia. She would not be here. She would not be here if it were not for research that has been done along the way. And if we can save any family from going through what we've gone through, what I know that the Calaloris have gone through, Tim Qualls, my heart still breaks when I see that look on your face. Mike Malchione, I know there's plenty of you out here that I have not mentioned, and I apologize because I can't think of you all off the top of my head, but know that we appreciate you, and you've made a difference just by being you and going through what you've been through. So just one last note, 100% of every dollar that we raise tonight and at the mud run and at the golf outing and at the junior mud run goes directly to research, 100% of every dime. We have given money to the Ellen F. Graham Cancer Center, AI DuPont Children's Research Hospital, the University of Utah Huntsman Cancer Research Center, and I don't know if some of you remember, but 4 years ago we pledged $1 million to St. Jude Children's Research Hospital. To date, we have given them $750,000, thanks to you. Please continue with us tonight. Please help us to bid. Keep working on those little bid pals. Figure them out. They got a lot of neat buttons on them. Just keep pushing them. Keep pushing them. And with your help and with our volunteers, I do really believe that we have already made a difference in the lives of people with cancer, and I believe that we can continue to do so. So thank you all for being here with us this evening. Have a great time, and keep bidding on those little fun things in your hand. Thank you so much. One more thing that I have not gone into, and I'm going to do it very quickly. I'd like to thank our sponsors for this evening. Our presenting sponsors, many of you have seen walking in here tonight, MSP Equipment Rental, $25,000 presenting sponsor. Michael and Lisa Cassidy, we love you. Thank you so much. Shaker and Gas in Middletown, Delaware, Jillian Levinson. Jillian, where are you, hon? There she is. Jillian and Shaker Gas are one of our gold sponsors this evening. Diamond State Recycling, Scott Shear, I know you're over there somewhere. Hey buddy, thank you so much. Has supported us every year that we've been here as MSP Equipment Rental. Let me name off a few more. Greg and Ferrara, I don't know why they're here, but they managed to make it in the room every year. Thank you so much, Dad, Vincent. Battaglia Electric in Newcastle. Diamond State Management, Robert and Connie Wittig. Artesian Water, Diane Taylor. Mayor Branner, are you there? Mayor Branner, thank you for being with us tonight. I left a little bit out of my speech. Nick told me to remind you why Freightland was here, to put Middletown back on the map. I don't believe it. I think it's all you, Mr. Mayor. anyone here tonight that I've missed, I want to appreciate all of you guys. Thank you for being here with us tonight. Continue to enjoy your evening and continue to help us raise funds and make a difference. Thank you again.